absolutely gorgeous morning, and another ride along to work. So it's time for some new tires. I think I mentioned it in either my last video, I think of the oil change video, I talked a little bit about tires, and it's time to do the tires. So I've been researching tires for Newellahmay, and a little history on the tires of this bike. Like I said, I bought this bike in the spring of 2018, and when I bought it, the tires were legally okay. So they had enough tread depth. They weren't, you know, scalloped or whatever. But I really wasn't too crazy about them. And again, bagger on a budget, I'm trying to squeeze them for everything I can, to include I got a 2-year warranty. I got the hazard protection on my tires, and I even got them to throw in a $125 gift certificate so my wife can get some new boots. So I about squeezed about everything I could out of the deal on this bike. So I didn't push my luck on the tires. But anyway, so I started calling around to figure out tires for this bike. And I'll give more details on tires. I'm going to probably cut into the garage in this video, and we'll talk about, I'll show you the new tires. And again, not going to do a tutorial, but probably going to go over a few things with this tires, because I am going to do something new here. I started calling around, and I was just shocked how expensive tires are for an ultra classic. Now, I'm sure a lot has to do with, you know, availability right now, the pandemic and gas prices and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, long story short, you know, about the cheapest I could find, you know, soup to nuts, taking it to somebody, $650 to do the front and rear tire, mount, balance, out the door. That seems a little steep to me. I wasn't too crazy about that. So, you know, talking to different shops, you know, I started kicking around the idea, well, maybe I'll order my tires, you know, bring the bike and my tires to you guys, have you do it. A couple people like, oh, well, you know, you order something on the internet, you're not going to know how long it's been sitting on the shelf, and really haven't talked much about it, but if you know me, you know I have a little bit of anxiety disorder. So that started causing some anxiety, but long story short, I decided to take the plunge. I found some tires online. I went with a different brand. Decided I wanted to try Michelin. Heard some good things about Michelin, so I figured I'd give them a shot. I have the exact miles written down, and I'll cover that later on the video, how many miles I got out of these Dunlops, and a little more on the price of these Michelins. So I ordered the Michelins online, and significantly cheaper, and I'll give the exact prices later. After I ordered them, just horrible anxiety about, am I going to get these tires in the mail, and are they going to be like 6 years old? So, you know, I finally got them in yesterday, and lo and behold, their birth date was 2020, which is fantastic. They are actually, she gives you the week and the year, they're actually less than a year old shelf life, so I'm pretty pleased with that. So my plan right now is I am going to remove my front and rear wheel myself. And right now I'm kind of on the fence of what I want to do next, because it is significantly cheaper to remove the front and rear wheel and just take those to a shop and have them mount and balance the tires and then bring them back and put them on your bike. Not only, you know, cheaper with money, but time as well. I've talked about this before. I don't want to be without my bike for, you know, 3 or 4 days for the tire replacement. Well, anyway, that's where I'm at right now. I'm kind of on the fence, because something else that I've kind of stumbled across on YouTube is doing it myself. I found a Harbor Freight tire balancer for like 39 bucks, and I have been watching videos on balancing your tires yourself. So I'm kind of on the fence there. I don't know if I want to do it, because to take the tires to a shop, I'm looking at about $45 a tire, mounting and balancing. Now I'm going to call a few more places today and price around, but I can get this tool for about 39 bucks, and if all goes well, moving forward, I can do my own mounting and balancing. So it's got me thinking. But anyway, I just was riding into work, figured I'd grab my cameras, talk about this a little bit before I cut into the garage, and I hope you guys enjoy. And that's pretty much it. So that's it for now. I'm almost to work, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, back out in the garage, the messy garage. Not centered in the camera here. So we'll just talk a little bit about the tires that I have on Newellahmay and the new tires that I got. A little bit about the cost. I spoke about it earlier. I got the numbers here in my hand, my little notes. She currently has the stock Dunlop, you know, tires from Harley Davidson with the bar and shield on them. The dealer put them on. So as I mentioned, I had these done at the dealer under the tire warranty program. So I was just looking at my mileage, and these tires were put on in July of 2018. And since then, I have put 15,936 miles on the tires, and they're pretty well worn. So a little bit about the tires that I got in the mail. So I decided to go with the Michelin Commander 2s. Now they're making Commander 3s now. I don't think they're making Commander 2s. So part of the thing that I was concerned about was the age of these Commander 2s. So we'll talk about the price point here. So before I get into this price point, you know, I think I mentioned earlier about, you know, calling around, getting several estimates, you know, soup to nuts, take the bike to them, they get the tires, do everything, and I just pick up the bike. $650 soup to nuts with Dunlop tires. What I got these Michelins for, I got the front tire for $163. All right, sorry about that. Got interrupted, wife came out. But anyway, $163.67 for the front tire. And for the rear tire, $224.70. So grand total, $388.37 plus tax. Shipped via Amazon Prime, shipping was free. Got here in about 4 days, pretty easy. So with that said, $388.37 plus the 45 and 45 for the mounting and balancing. I'm looking at $428.37. So it's going to give me a cost savings of $221.63. That's a big deal. That's a lot of money to me. That's, you know, a lot of money I could put back into rides and stuff like that. So a savings of $221.63 for me to put a little sweat equity into my bike. I enjoy working on my bike. Now the front tire came just like that. UPS guy had it over his shoulder, that little thing around it with the address on it. And then the back tire was actually in a box. I've looked them over, they're in good shape. I don't see anything wrong with them. So I think I'm good to go. So I told you that we would look at this date. So on the tire, if we spin this around here on the front tire, you will see a 4-digit date. So 3/7/20. Now, I didn't know that in my head. I had to use the Google machine, but 37 is about the first week of September of 2020. And then the rear tire is 27/20. So first week of July 2020. Talking about how I'm gonna do this. All right, so I went ahead and did the front tire first. So what I've gone ahead and already done is I've marked it. Let me get down here where you can see. So if you look right in there, you can see this little tab that sticks out. So this is a tensioner plate. You can see it's kind of a half moon. So when you're adjusting your belt tension, this is what you use, you know, to slide this tire back or forward to, you know, adjust the tension of your belt. So like I said, I'm pleased with the tension of my belt. So I just took a Sharpie and marked the top of that tab and the bottom of the tab. So that way when I put it back together, I can put this plate right back in the same position, and my belt tension and my tire alignment will stay the same inside there. So I did the same on the other side. Again, so they can just be both kind of plumb inside there. So same thing on this side, little tab, I marked it. So that way I know on the half moon where I'm at for my belt tension. All right, we got the back wheel off. You can see it a little better here. It's pretty worn down. So barely any tread left there in the center of the tire, down way past the wear bars. So it's time to replace it. So that's that. Altogether, maybe an hour and a half to take it all apart. So I have everything set out. So tomorrow I'll be taking it to the shop, get them to mount them. Hopefully they can do it while I wait. And then tomorrow evening we'll put them back on. So we'll pick up right there and see how it goes in the reverse order. Wish me luck.
All right, that Tidewater Cycles out in Suffolk, Virginia, and brought my tires out here this morning to get them mounted up, and some of my savings just went away, so took them in there to have them mount the tires, and mechanic came back, said my bearings in my front and my rear tire were bad. So again, these guys are fantastic out here. They took care of me on the spot. So basically it's 9:59. I got here at 9 when they opened, and I'm out the door in an hour. So they mounted and balanced both tires and replaced my bearings. So I was at $90. Cost me another $100 for the bearings. Again, that's not bad. So $190 out the door, tires, mounted balance, and bearings on the front and rear tire. So pretty pleased with that. So it's Tidewater Cycles out here in Suffolk. I'll take a couple pictures and some video around so you guys can see it. Come out, check these guys out. They are fantastic. Jumped right on me, in and out the door in an hour. Really appreciate their business. So we'll flip this around so you can see the place. All right, well, we're back from Tidewater Cycles, and went ahead and got the wheels back on the bike. Fantastic morning this morning. Was able to get in and out of there in an hour. Like I mentioned previously, found out my bearings were bad, so a little bit more money. What I thought was going to be a $90 repair ended up being $190, so an extra $100. But really, I'm not really counting those bearings because the bearings were bad. If I would have took it to a shop, they quoted me $650 for tires out the door. Hopefully they would have found the bearings, and I'd have had that additional cost on there as well. So I still think I did well, even though it was just unexpected. So we'll flip this around and show you how things look after I buttoned up. We'll talk about a couple of the lessons learned or things that I learned while doing this, and pass it on to you, and hopefully it'll help you if you ever need to take your tires or your wheels off your bike. All right, so we got the front tire back on. She's still sitting on a jack stand, but the wheels are on the ground. So it's the new tire, the Michelin Commander 2. Really, the front tire is pretty straightforward. The only thing is not sure what year they started putting like the ABS wheel speed sensors on the bikes. So just make sure if you do this, some of the newer bikes have these wheel speed sensors, and it's basically right there, acts as a spacer. Just make sure you want to get that lined up correctly. Clean it out, some new anti-seizing compound in there when you run your axle through. So I still need to torque this bolt down a little bit more, but pretty straightforward. Just the reverse orders when I took it off. Again, make sure when you put this spacer back, you see those machined lines. They need to be on the outside here. And then tighten down this retaining bolt. Again, like I said, your bike may have two under here. I've seen both. So pretty straightforward. Calipers went back on pretty easy. Everything went well back here as well. So I've got everything buttoned up. I just need to wipe down the chrome before I fire it up. So some of the lessons learned here also the same thing. Wheel speed sensor, or the ABS sensor right in there. It goes in between the wheel and this bracket back here that holds the caliper. So that can be a little tricky. It's got a notch where it kind of lays in. So basically it'll bend a little bit. That needs to come this way. And it sits right in there. Same thing, clean it up a little bit. Now I did find, and you can see my notches where I marked, lined everything up nice and neatly. I did find when, I had this bike up in the air, that when putting the wheel back on, I got the wheel positioned underneath there, and then I started lowering the jack down to line up the axle. So instead of trying to lift the tire up, which is a pain in the butt, I brought the bike down to the tire and lined it up. So that's kind of a couple of lessons learned. All right, so that's that. Pretty easy process. Got the tires back on. All I gotta do is wipe it down and take it for a little test ride. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Another thing, check today, I am up to 14 subscribers. We'll call it the 10 because I'm pretty sure that a couple of them are my nieces and nephews and my favorite aunt. So I appreciate you guys checking me out. Hope you like what I'm doing. If you have any suggestions, let me know. But I'm gonna keep doing it. It's fun. I enjoy doing it. So 14 subscribers, 1,400 subscribers, 14,000 subscribers, don't really matter to me. I enjoy doing this. So hopefully you enjoy watching, and that's pretty much it. So in the meantime, you guys be careful. You guys be safe. Keep that shiny side up, and we'll see you next time.